Have you ever wondered if a small act of kindness could change your entire life? Today, we're diving into a magical story that proves it can. It's a classic tale about three brothers who set out to seek their fortunes, but what they find is something far more valuable. Once upon a time, two princes decided to go out into the world to find adventure. Their younger brother, who everyone called Simpleton, wanted to join them. His older brothers laughed at him, saying he was too foolish to make his way in the world. But he insisted, and so the three of them set off together. Their journey led them deep into a vast, ancient forest. The two older brothers, full of arrogance and a destructive spirit, immediately began causing trouble. They came across a large anthill and wanted to stomp on it, just to watch the tiny ants scatter in panic. "What's the harm?" they sneered. "They're just ants." But Simpleton stopped them. "Leave the poor creatures in peace," he said. "I won't let you disturb them." Grumbling, his brothers moved on. A little while later, they reached a lake where a family of ducks was peacefully swimming. The older brothers saw an opportunity for a cruel game. "Let's catch a couple and roast them for dinner," they exclaimed. But again, Simpleton stepped in front of them. "Leave these birds in peace," he pleaded. "They've done us no harm. I will not let you kill them." Annoyed, but seeing his determination, the brothers gave up and continued their walk. Their path then took them past an old, hollow tree. From inside, they heard a loud buzzing sound. Peeking in, they saw a huge honeycomb, dripping with golden honey and swarming with thousands of bees. The older brothers had a wicked idea. "Let's build a fire at the bottom of the tree," one suggested. "The smoke will drive the bees out, and we can take all their honey." They started gathering twigs, ready to set their plan in motion. But Simpleton, horrified, ran to stop them. "Please, don't do this," he cried. "You'll burn the bees and destroy their home. Leave the creatures in peace. I won't allow you to harm them." Defeated and angry with their kind-hearted brother, they finally moved on, leaving the bees unharmed. As evening fell, the three brothers arrived at a mysterious, silent castle. The stables were filled with horses turned to stone, and not a single person could be seen. They wandered through the grand, empty halls until they found a small, locked door. In the door were three little keyholes. They looked around and saw a small gray man sitting at a table nearby. The man didn't speak, but he motioned for them to follow him. He led them to a grand dining room where a magnificent feast was laid out. After they ate their fill, the little gray man showed each brother to his own separate bedroom, and they all fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, the little gray man came to the eldest brother and led him to a stone tablet. On it were written 3 impossible tasks. If he could complete them, the castle's enchantment would be broken. The first task was to find 1,000 pearls belonging to the king's daughter, which were scattered and hidden in the moss all over the forest. He was given until sunset. If he failed, if even one pearl was missing, he would be turned to stone. The eldest brother searched all day, but the task was overwhelming. By sunset, he had only found 100 pearls. And just as the tablet had warned, he was turned to stone. The following day, the second brother tried his luck. He too searched from dawn till dusk, but he only managed to find 200 pearls. He also met the same grim fate and was turned into a stone statue. Finally, it was Simpleton's turn. He went into the forest to search for the pearls, but the job felt hopeless. He sat down on a stone and began to cry, thinking he would never succeed. As he sat there, feeling despair, he heard a familiar buzzing. It was the queen bee, from the hive he had saved from the fire. She had come with all 5,000 of her bees to help him. The little creatures flew all over the forest floor, and in no time at all, they had gathered every single one of the 1,000 pearls and piled them in a neat heap before him. The first task was complete. But there were 2 more challenges. The second task was to retrieve the key to the princess's bedroom, which had fallen into the deep lake. When Simpleton reached the lake, he didn't know what to do. As he stared into the water, the very ducks he had saved from his brothers swam up to him. They dove deep into the water and, moments later, resurfaced with the golden key in their beaks, placing it right in his hand. The second task was done. Now for the third and final task, the most difficult of all. Simpleton had to identify the youngest and kindest of the 3 sleeping princesses. They all looked exactly alike, completely identical. The only clue he had was that before they fell asleep, the eldest had eaten a piece of sugar, the second a little syrup, and the youngest a spoonful of honey. How could he possibly tell them apart? As he stood there, completely puzzled, the queen bee flew into the room. She flew to each of the 3 princesses, carefully observing them. Finally, she landed on the lips of one of them, the one who had eaten the honey. In that instant, Simpleton knew he had found the right princess. The moment he made his choice, the enchantment was broken. The entire castle awoke from its long slumber. The people who had been turned to stone came back to life. Simpleton's 2 older brothers were restored as well, and they were filled with remorse for their cruelty. Simpleton married the youngest and kindest princess and became the king of the castle. His brothers, having learned their lesson, married the other 2 sisters. And they all lived together, in peace and happiness. This beautiful story reminds us that compassion isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. The smallest creatures, the ones we often overlook, can hold the keys to our greatest triumphs. Simpleton's kindness wasn't just a random act. It was a reflection of his character, and it returned to him when he needed it most. It's a powerful message. What you give to the world often gives back to you in the most unexpected and magical ways. So, next time you see a tiny ant, a duck on a pond, or a busy bee, remember this story. A little bit of kindness costs nothing, but its rewards can be priceless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that warm the heart and inspire the soul. See you next time.